Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Finding Great Things to Read, also known as adding to my and probably your epically long TBR to be read list. There's so many good books out this month. It is just so hard to choose. I'll probably say that every month, but it's going to be especially true for the next few months as the publishers deal with distribution issues and schedule crowding and everything like that because of the way of the world right now. So it's probably going to be jam-packed couple months with a lot of really great recommendations. So definitely make sure to stick with me and check back in regularly to find out what you should be reading. So on the romance side of things, there are so many books out this month. There would be no way to choose or probably list all of them that I would love to recommend to you in just this one video. So I made this fancy graphic. We're getting all fancy and stuff. Feel free to pause, take down these titles, write them down, remember them, memorize it. I can also put the graphic somewhere if that's helpful to you. There are a ton here, and I'd recommend you check them all out. So then for this video, since romance is its own graphic, we are going to focus on the science fiction fantasy realm of things. Now, a quick caveat, most of my sci-fi fantasy also still has romance in it because that's how I roll. But we're gonna focus on sci-fi fantasy just in time for October. If you're looking for more scary horror books though, more of a Halloween vibe type thing, I'm gonna do a different video for that, so check back in next week. So what to keep an eye out for this month? A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout is coming out this month. Now this is a story set in the same world as From Blood and Ash, which is probably her biggest series now. It went viral on TikTok. You've probably seen the cover everywhere. It's all over the place. So it's set in that same world, but with different characters. Now, from a publishing strategy editor standpoint, this is really smart of her to do because basically what she's doing is capitalizing on this already phenomenal world that she has and an existing readership and getting you hooked into essentially a new series while still waiting for From Blood and Ash to finish. That way then you can continue on and be invested still even when From Blood and Ash completes. It's super smart and I think it's going to work really well and the book's going to be phenomenal either way. As a reader, I mostly just want the last book From Blood and Ash because I love that series and I want to know how it ends, but I'm totally going to dive into this one as well. I can be patient, wait for the last book in the other series, it's fine. I'm gonna read her books regardless, so it's very low risk for me, but for those of you that are authors out there, it is a really interesting publishing strategy if you have multiple series, especially multiple interconnected series, and how you may want to consider layering them or continuing to publish them in tandem to keep your readers engaged and keep them in content. Book number 2 is Archangels Light by Nalini Singh. This is probably the book that I am most looking forward to this month. If you haven't read Nalini Singh yet, she has 2 series out. This is one of them. I highly recommend either one. They are more on the paranormal romance side than they are science fiction fantasy, so just as a heads up for that, but she still does a just phenomenal job with world building. So if you're looking for good examples of how to do that, especially balancing that with romance and doing it with a wide cast of characters, she's a great example. Also, as a quick note, the Guild Hunters series, which is what this book is in, has a very strong enemies to lovers, at least at the beginning, like I'll die and or kill for you type vibe. I know that's super hot right now for those of you that really love that type of fantasy romance trope. This has it in spades for you, so I highly recommend you start at the beginning and check that out. This is actually book 14 in the series, so don't start with this one, start at the beginning, but know that you have a long and just phenomenal story arc in front of you to dive into. So with all that being said about the Guild Hunter series in general, this book is actually a little bit of an outlier. She does that occasionally. She'll write a book that features the romance of 2 secondary characters, and this book features 2 characters that I have been dying to see become main characters for forever. We've been watching them grow through all of their trauma and deal with their friendship and coming together. So I cannot wait to see how it finally works out. It is also some very well-deserved MM in a very MF focused series. She generally only writes MF, or at least that I've read from her, so I am so excited to see that representation as well, and she's such a great writer. She's gonna do a wonderful job with it, and when I tell you, once you start the series and find out which 2 of these characters it is and you get to love them like I do, come chat at me because you will be just as excited. Third book is Jade Fire Gold by June C.L. Tan. So this is a debut book. I had known nothing about this author. I know nothing about her writing. Love to find new authors. Absolutely love debut. They're awesome for editorial, for publishing, for just in general. Love debut authors. And after reading the copy, while her story seems pretty on par with all the popular tropes, clearly June knew what she was doing when she planned out her epic debut, because while it doesn't seem to have a crazy twist, at least not from the copy, again, I have not read it, I don't have an early arc or anything like that, I'm still sold. It stars a girl who's an orphan and a guy who is the heir to the throne. It's got, of course, a slow burn romance. I told you, all of my fantasy generally has some sort of romance in there. And it shows these two characters working as they try to reclaim what is his birthright, as well as figure out her backstory, and she has this magic that of course is going crazy, and they need to figure out how to wrangle that and bring all these different pieces together. I can already feel the tension and the politics and the angst, and like I said, there is nothing revolutionary in this story, but it is everything that we absolutely love about fantasy books, and it looks like it's built in a really atmospheric, beautiful setting, and I can't wait to try it out and see if I found a new favorite author moving forward. Debut authors. Gotta love them. Finally, Briarhart by Mercedes Lackey. So I've read Mercedes Lackey for years, I've read tons of her backlist, but I haven't been keeping up with a lot of her more recent publications, but this one caught my eye because it's a retelling of Sleeping Beauty, but with a twist. It's from Aurora's sister's point of view. I am a sucker for fantasy adventure that follows the sidekick instead of the chosen one, and you get to see how all of that plays out, and you get sort of that multi-dimensional feel of still following the chosen one, but it's really all about the sidekick and how that can be really intricate and complicated even when your main character is normal. Or at least not the chosen one. They're probably not normal. So Briarhart, this book, is about Miriam, who was born to the queen before she married the king. So she is not the princess. So the princess was just born. The princess is Aurora, obviously, and Miriam is a-okay with that. She doesn't want to be the princess. There's no sibling rivalry or anything icky like that. And you have the very traditional Sleeping Beauty of, the kingdom is gathered to give blessing to Aurora, and of course the Dark Fae tries to curse her, and in doing so, Miriam's powers are actually revealed. So then the journey is Miriam trying to protect her sister and the kingdom and try to maintain hold of her magic and handle all of this all together. It just sounds really cool. It's your regular fairy tale, but with a really neat twist. I love the idea of the sister protector, of sort of that sisterly bond coming together. I'm not sure how much we're going to see of that on a page, because obviously as the book starts, Aurora is quite young, but I'm really excited to see how Mercedes Lackey really dives into this, as well as you can't go wrong with her. She is just a name brand in fantasy. So those are the books that I'm looking forward to this month. What did I miss? What are you looking forward to? What are you excited about? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't had a chance, definitely like and subscribe the channel. I'll be able to help you add to your epically long to be read list continuously each month, as well as you can check back for advice on writing and publishing and editing and all that sort. And otherwise, until next week, keep writing.